Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek X Like Chic, and we are back with another review to The Walking Dead. This is for episode 21, which was called Outpost. And yeah, we definitely saw there is an outpost for Alexandria, for the Commonwealth now, which has now become Alexandria, the former Alexandria. And that makes sense. We did see in the first half of the season that after Hornsby forcibly took down Maggie's people, etc., and the Oceanside, that he decided to make them outposts of Alexandria. But of course, the people in Alexandria did not know that because, you know, he was doing all that on the low. But digressing, this episode kind of had our group slowly starting to come back together after being dispersed. As we said, we didn't see Aaron or Jerry or any of them. They're still on their way to Oceanside, but we see that Maggie and Gabriel and Rosita were all together. Of course, we know that Carol and Daryl managed to escape or before they even got caught. And then pretty much everybody else was put on a bus to a work camp. And then they were further separated, where only half of the people who were on that bus were sent to a work camp and the other half were sent away, but they're not sure if they went to Outpost 22 or not at this point. But if Pamela's whole scheme was to separate the group, then obviously sending them all to Outpost 22 wouldn't be smart, but I don't know how many. I guess they could try to do Outpost 22 and then maybe Oceanside. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yes, everyone was kind of split up. And of course, I wasn't really that worried because Rick's group is probably the most seasoned out of any of the people that have been in the Commonwealth for a very long time. All of them have their backstories, many of them which we know already, but we just know that a lot of them have survived on the outside with very little hope. But they always manage to scrap their way through, and thankfully they haven't been in the Commonwealth long enough to get soft, I guess. That's one thing that was always a worry for Michonne, Rick. They used to always worry when they got into communities, like, are we getting soft? Are we losing our skills? Are we going to be prepared if something happens? And, you know, we saw that season 6 was the season where Michonne and Rick were really struggling with that. Like, you know, how much do we let ourselves relax? How much do we enjoy this idea of becoming civilized again without losing our skills to be able to kick butt if it comes down to it? And, you know, I think now our group has gotten to the point where they've lost so many communities over and over again that none of them really ever sleep completely safely. But yeah, it's a good thing that all of them kind of had their eye out from the get-go with this place, because it's going to turn out to be very helpful. So we saw that Maggie, she got one guard, very conveniently, only one guard in their convoy, and he fell asleep. So anyway, they managed to get away, and then they ended up rendezvousing with Carol and Daryl, and eventually they caught on to the fact that this train was headed somewhere, and that's where they found Connie, which she was separated, which is very interesting. I'm still not sure why they separated her. Again, I don't know if it's just because she's deaf. I know, like I said, that Pamela probably has a specific desire for revenge, where she's concerned, because of course Connie was the one who wrote all those scathing articles and she's an easy target. But again, I don't know if it's just because I thought because she's deaf she couldn't do the labor camps. I don't know. But anyhow, they managed to get Connie back, and it was kind of cute to see Daryl, you know, getting all heroic and protective of his girl. Like I said, I know it's a ship that'll never happen, but you know, my heart, it's already sailed. But anyway, they managed to get them all back and discover that the train is headed. Well, actually, they don't know where the train is headed yet. They said there is another outpost, but they said the train is where the people were going, which is not even true because they were taken by bus. Because I was like, as far as I know, Alexandria was not near a rail station, and I think the people of Alexandria would have noticed if a train was going by. So not sure where this other location is, but I have questions because this train was bringing in what looks like brand new vehicles and bikes and things like that, and we didn't see anything in the way of manufacturing at the Commonwealth, but they were clearly getting things like fuel and other necessities. So I was like, so my wheels are turning, and I'm wondering if potentially they are working with the CRM but don't realize that the CRM is who they are. Like, you know, we already know now from, well, if you watched The Walking Dead new, oh gosh, the name just slipped, but you know, if you watch the other Walking Dead spinoff, you know that the CRM will pretend to be something they're not, just to keep communities in the dark about how big they are and what they're capable of. And they have people who infiltrate as well. So I almost wonder if the CRM is using them right now for a reason, like for testing, for experimenting, who knows, and providing them with those vehicles and weapons and armor, etc. And, you know, obviously waiting to pounce whenever the time comes. But anyway, probably is a bigger plot as to where that train is actually headed and how they even got that train going, because it doesn't seem like the Commonwealth has that many skilled people in there that'd be able to get all that going. So I do think there's a bigger faction at work, and I think by the end of the season we'll find out who that is. But anyway, we did find out that at least there's a very good chance that the children are at Alexandria, because I was thinking there's no way they could have gotten the kids very far in that short amount of time. Like, kids, these are kids, they're gonna have to go to the bathroom in 5 minutes. Like, you can't be transporting them long distances. And so Alexandria makes sense. It's only a short ride from the Commonwealth, and they could get the kids there pretty quickly. It's familiar. There's a lot of places to put them. Judith is my question though. Where is she? Because she's a little troublemaker. And Pamela might know that. I don't know if Pamela's people know that Judith is very good with both a sword and a gun, but I'm hoping she's managed to keep that quiet for now, because they would definitely keep a special eye on her. But obviously there is the worry of that little boy that was taken along with Herschel. He ended up dying. We don't know how. They didn't show us how he died, if it was because someone in the Commonwealth actually killed him or something else happened. But obviously Maggie's got real reason to be scared, because Herschel was with him. He was taken with him. So she's worried. She doesn't know if Herschel's dead or alive. I don't think that the show would be cruel enough to take away the only progeny of Glenn. People are still ticked that they killed Glenn. And yes, we know it's canonical, but they didn't have to do it. But anyway, I don't think they would do that to us. So I think he's fine. I think he's probably with Judith and with Aaron's daughter as well. But yeah, we won't know until obviously the next couple of episodes. So my guess is that they're all together at the at Alexandria. But just seeing poor Maggie have to go through that, and I thought it was fitting that Carol be the one to give her some support over that, because she has lost her child, and she's also lost two other children-like figures in her life in the span of this show. So she's very familiar with the worry of not knowing, and also knowing what it is to actually have to lose a child. And so I think it was fitting that she talked to Maggie and just said to her, like, you got to realize at some point there's only so much you could do. I mean, Carol definitely went through her series of guilt after Sophia died, and probably a level of guilt after Henry died as well. But there's a point, where if you are a surviving parent, or whatever the case may be, when you have to understand that there's only so much you can do, especially if you're on your own. And Maggie has been doing a really good job of keeping Herschel alive, but there's only so much you can do. The Commonwealth is way more people, and this just wasn't something she could handle. But understandably, she's still frustrated and scared, and as she said, the not knowing is the worst thing. And I've heard that from people who unfortunately have suffered children being missing, that it's the worst, not knowing if their child is dead or alive, or being hurt, sort of thing. So anyway, I think he's fine. I think they're all going to be okay. Pam's pretty twisted, but I don't think she'd be approving of children being harmed willingly, I guess I should say. Do I think she'd put them to death if she thinks it was something she needed to do? Yes. But do I think she would just torture these kids somewhere? No, I don't think she'd do that. Like I said, knowingly anyways. But as we all know, Pam is very good at being detached from what's actually happening in her little society. So anyway, we see also that on the work camp, Ezekiel, Kelly, and Negan are all there. Negan really is desperate to get his wife to safety because she's pregnant, obviously, and if she's being put in a position like him where she's doing hard labor, that's not a good combination for anybody, but really for somebody who's with child. So he really wants to get her out of there, and I think he feels guilty for even bringing her there, although she did insist on going. It's not like he wanted her to, but you get my point. Negan, being the guy he is, he feels very responsible, and he basically said to Ezekiel, hey, we got to work together, because if we do what Pam wants and divide amongst ourselves, we're never getting out of here. And Ezekiel, understandably, still not on the Negan train, and basically said to him, I shouldn't have to get over what you did to me. But Negan bringing out equally understandably that we're not in a position right now where we have the luxury of hashing out our old stuff. Like, we have to work together. If we don't work together, we're going to end up dying in here. So he said that Ezekiel's saying, I can rally people, but I need a spark. I need something to get hope working. And Negan basically said, I'll give you a spark, but you got to make sure that, you use it. And also that I'm probably not going to come with you. So that sounds like a martyr speech to me. He's probably going to do something that's going to get them to either beat him to death or damn near. And that will get people feeling like they need to do something. As I said, I'm not really sad about it. I know there's Negan fans who definitely don't want that to happen. It's Negan though. Like, I don't think they had Ezekiel, read out just a tenth of the bad things that Negan did in his time in this other world for no reason. I think it was kind of to be like, yeah, if this character dies, he's earned it. He's really earned it. Like, he's not a good guy, really. I mean, yes, he's changing and he's trying to be better now, but it doesn't excuse the past. And, I've always said on this channel that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences take a while to show up. And maybe for Negan, this is what he needs to do to kind of finally somewhat atone for what he did in the past. If he's got to die like this, saving his child, then that's probably the best way that he can go out. And it's a way that he can, again, atone to some degree for all the people that he's, very purposefully hurt in the past. But we'll see what happens. I know he's a beloved character, but at the same time, he was still a villain, a really bad one. And I mean, the show really watered down just how bad Negan was. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think that's what his plan is. You know, on the bus going back to Alexandria, he did not look very happy. He looked like he was kind of resigning to a fate that he was not that happy about, but felt like was necessary. And we all know that with his first wife, he was rather selfish about not wanting to deal with the sadder parts of her last days. And I think he just doesn't want to do that again with this wife. You know, I think he wants to do something where he's a little bit more selfless than selfish. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, maybe once he realizes that they're back at Alexandria, he might reconsider, because he knows Alexandria quite well. And as I said in the episode, we all know that there is a secret way into Alexandria through the vents. So I don't know if the Commonwealth's aware of that yet, but if they're not, then there's definitely a way for our people to get in and potentially get an advantage point from that point. So yeah, they're definitely stirring up for the finale that's coming up in just a few episodes, and I'm excited to see it. It's good to see Rick's people come together again. As I said, if there's one thing that Rick's people do, they come together and they are scrappy and they are innovative. And when it comes to their kids, and that's really where Pam messed up, was separating them from their kids, it's going to get messy. And, you know, maybe Pam is feeling a little kamikaze now because she lost her only child now, but you don't go after other people's kids. That's just not the way to go. So we're going to have to see how it goes. And I'm excited to see this finally wrap up. But at the same time, as I've said many times, bittersweet to know that this is going to be it for the OG Walking Dead. So anyhow, it was a really fun episode to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me and you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next video.